Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Crypto Hipster Podcast. This is your host, Jamil Hassan, the Crypto Hipster, where I interview founders, entrepreneurs, executives, thought leaders, amazing people all around the world of crypto and blockchain. And today I have another amazing guest. He's a researcher and he's a co-founder of multiple crypto projects. His name is Victor Vernache. Hopefully I got that right. He'll correct me if I'm wrong. Victor, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you very much, Jamil. So it's a French pronunciation. It's vernissage, but you got a nice try. Thanks. Thanks for inviting me. It's a real pleasure.
Bonjour, and you're welcome. So, thank you. So let's kick things off. I guess, all the same question. Oh, yeah, and I get amazing answers. So let's kick things off with the first question is, what is your background, and is it a logical background for what you're doing now?
Well, I'm an economist at heart. Okay, macroeconomics is one of my favorite sciences, I would say. And pretty early in my life, I encountered crypto, which was over 10 years ago. So it was very logical, due to the fact that back then I was living in Russia. And, decentralization is kind of inside of our hearts, really, because things are really bad, still very bad. So with the background in economics, I quickly went into creating traditional IT startups, Web2 IT startups. But once I encountered crypto, that was it. It was the path for me forward. I think in terms of economics, in terms of the future of humanity at the same time, because back then I had a slight depression, I would say, and crypto almost healed me. Just the idea of crypto.
Okay, now you got my attention. It almost healed you. What was wrong, and how to heal you?
Oh, it was a pretty weird one. Everything was pretty nice in my life. I just went out of university. I was figuring out what to do next, reading a lot. Already was trying my first projects, and then I stumbled upon. I was reading a lot of Yudkovsky's Rationality. The book is called Rationality from AI to Zombies, which is the compilation of around 300 articles in logical order, in which he pretty clearly leads to the fact that artificial general intelligence is coming, and most likely it's going to destroy us. Unless we do two things: try to mathematically describe human values and give it to the artificial general intelligence, or we have some methods of control. And it sounded like with crypto we could at least do the second part, because most likely 99.9% will fail in the first one.
Interesting. So crypto saved me too.
Really,
So
how was that?
I had two heart attacks at the end of 2018. One was the RCA, and one was the LCD, both widowmakers, right? So I was in the hospital after the second one, and I had $10 left in the bank, and I bought some Litecoin, and that gave me hope for a future. And I'm like, okay, I better stay alive, and I have. So just buying just that tiny bit, offer hope. You know, um,
Nice.
yeah. So I can get into talking about that for days, but it's not my podcast, it's yours. So let's talk about Humanoid. you know, what's Humanoid all about? What makes it incredibly interesting?
Crypto is not decentralized. Full stop. We do have decentralized technology, but it's all either based as a consensus mechanism on proof of stake or proof of work, which are based on capital. Capital is not decentralized, hence these networks are not decentralized. And that's what Humanoid is about. It's about creating a blockchain where peers are actually equal in terms of computation and governance, voting power as well, which we couldn't actually understand how to do back in 2017 when we got that understanding. But in 2020, we figured it out. So we started Humanoid, and imagine it as a network of equal humans running their servers and maintaining the ledger of truth, which is the blockchain.
So interesting. So you have the original idea by Satoshi Nakamoto, or even before that, of with decentralization, right? So that idea is dead, right? Or you think it's dead. And how could we? Why do you think it's dead? And how could we resurrect it?
I think that it's not completely dead. There are still people who care. However, new people coming into the market don't care about it at all. Centralized things win in crypto over decentralized things because they're easier, they have better user experience, they get all the users. How can we get it back? I think we do need a major catastrophe event in crypto in order to get back to their original values. Because for now, people are completely okay with the centralized sequencers in layer twos. They get more users than decentralized layer ones sometimes. And an average user thinks if it's crypto, it's already decentralized, which is not. So they don't care at all. How do we get it back? I think we do need major catastrophe. That's the only way for people to realize that we have to value decentralization more than we do now.
I have a book called Overcoming Crypto Catastrophes, and the contents in that book talk about FTX and Celsius. I guess BlockFi too. You could throw them in there. They always were crypto catastrophes, right? Um, what do you see as a catalyst for the next catastrophe? What could that possibly be? We're a lot safer now, you think? Or there are some areas that maybe we're not. So what could that next catastrophe be, and why should we be prepared for it?
Look, I think that what happened with FTX, Celsius, and whoever else, that was not really about crypto, right? So it kind of was crypto market, but they were completely centralized. They were managing users' funds. And I'm talking about the fact that, well, at least current networks, they don't manage user funds. But in L2s, sometimes it's possible to kind of, if you get the layer 2 multi-sig, you can wipe out all the funds that people transfer to this layer 2. Luckily, it never happened because there are many people in multi-sigs. But frankly speaking, I don't see an imminent catastrophe coming like that, unless all of the multi-sig signers of layer 2 are very bad at security, which hopefully, yeah, will not happen. But another catastrophe that can happen not anytime, but we don't know yet how far in the future it will be, is that when we do have AI agents who are good enough in order to earn money, they will quickly become good enough at earning money so that they have enough to buy out a proof of stake network, let's say. And imagine if we really have artificial general intelligence, which can be wealthy enough to buy out Ethereum supply, become the biggest Ethereum staker. And now Ethereum doesn't belong to humans anymore. This sounds far into the future, and only guys like Elon Musk and like those who own AI companies say that AGI is coming. I think it is not. It will be completely different neural networks from large language models we have now. But it may come anytime in the next 25 years.
Okay, that's one possibility. So the AI agents become strong enough where they could like wipe out Ethereum and do it maliciously, intentionally.
Yeah, they can at least stop Ethereum if they need it. Luckily, we have finalization in our layer ones, almost all of them, which means you cannot actually change the history of the blockchain when it's already finalized. But yeah, they can kind of capture our networks, the power in them.
I could think of two other possible things.
Okay, that's interesting.
One is quantum. What would be the role of quantum in overtaking and destroying blockchain networks?
The role would be to probably figure out the private keys, just then take the funds out of them, which is still impossible with the current tech we have. But again, the the rate of development accelerates crazily. For now, quantum tech is still good for randomization, for so to say, for prediction of multiple outcomes, millions of outcomes. But it's still about random things, not about deterministic things. So quantum could be a problem, but we already have math, which is quantum resistant. So there is lattice cryptography and math available. Just not many blockchains or crypto projects use it because it's computationally heavier than what we use right now. But we do have means to resist quantum computers.
Got it. And the other one is very, 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 very far fetched. I can't say very enough, but say there was a grid attack, you know, and that injured somehow like a lot of the real estate in the U.S. and therefore bankrupted BlackRock, which then bankrupted MicroStrategy. How would that impact things?
I firmly believe um, that Bitcoin going to zero, almost zero, whatever, would reboot our industry, make it stronger. I'm very thankful for what Satoshi Bitcoin did in the past, but we all understand that it's already an archaic technology. So I'm waiting for the flippening, uh, which is the term for Ethereum surpassing Bitcoin for the last 8 years. I still hope it will happen. But MicroStrategy can go down much sooner than BlackRock, and even without its help. That's something I'm afraid of can be the end of the cycle.
Yeah, that's the only risk right now. But that's very. You said Bitcoin's very old technology, and people have been waiting for the flipping for a while, and you know, but there's new technology out there. There's biometrics, right? And you said you believe that all humans are equal. The founding fathers of the United States would disagree with you, but based on populations and demographics. But how are all humans equal, and how do you provide equality through biometrics?
Well, humans are equal in their rights, but not in their abilities. And at the same time, well, I think everybody has the right to be a part of financial system. Unlike the world we live in now, where we even don't have access to financial instruments like shadow banking instruments. Okay, people don't even know what shadow banks is, and they hold most of the dollar supply in the world. But apart from that, okay, back to your question. So there are multiple ways to find out if there is a unique and real human in front of the computer or not. And biometrics is one of them. Uh, well, the most accurate biometrics right now is iris scan, the thing that we have in the eye that the world coin with the orb have. However, you have to have a specialized device. It's not very inclusive. So at Humanoid, we decided to go with facial recognition, which is the most accurate biometrics we have that does not require specialized hardware, and anybody could use with their smartphone and even 3 megapixel camera. So we checked out before starting Humanoid in 2020. We checked out the accuracy details. Right, this is important thing to know, and the error rate, basically the possibility that there will be a person in this world who looks so similar to you that once he verifies himself, you will not be able to verify yourself because, like, one human, one node is 1 in 125 million. It's not zero. Biometrics are not deterministic, they are still the game of probability. And with the scale, the probability of error grows. But it's totally enough to have a blockchain network with even million of nodes, which is unheard of our in our industry right now. So how does it work? Pretty easy. Imagine you're running a blockchain node, like in proof of stake. You set up a small server, cloud server, home server, and but to become a validator, you have to get authenticated through biometrics. So you basically locally connect to your node, you scan your face, and then you can become a validator. That's pretty much it. You can become part of the consensus and part of the governance as well.
And that would give people who are shut out from the traditional financial system an opportunity to be part of the new one.
That well, people are kind of all shut out from uh, traditional financial system, I would say, because unless you're a high net worth individual, you can get access to many financial instruments. But here, yeah, basically, it will not only, we already can have access to finance through our blockchains, okay, through Ethereum, through Solana, whatever. However, people do not control these blockchains, and all the fees that they pay and all the block rewards go to wealthy for-profit companies who are either exchanges or professional validators. So in Humanot, we're talking about giving the infrastructure back to people. Like in early days of Bitcoin, when people were mining in their flats, and it was very hot, of course. You could live in like 40 degrees while outside it's zero because you're mining so much Bitcoin. But yeah, I'm talking about not giving just access, but the control over infrastructure and decision making.
Interesting. So I have a little bit of a conflict here with the, actually, maybe you could help me. As maybe I'm still seeing this. Um, you said that you are waiting for the flippening, you know, um, and I think maybe so am I. And it might be Ethereum, or it might be Solana. You know, in either case, you believe that consensus can be agnostic. However, with the proof of stake networks like Ethereum, like Solana, you have the whales who are more influential in the networks, don't you? Like how can it be agnostic and it be Ethereum?
Well, sometimes whales don't care about staking, right? Because staking doesn't give them much, especially if the network is big enough. It gives them like 3-5%, and they are actually better off using other DeFi protocols than just stake Solana or Ethereum. So distribution of infrastructure of the financial system doesn't mean that you cannot stay wealthy or be wealthier than others, because there is still thing like money, there is still thing like resources and assets and one can have 1,000 times more than others, still be a whale, but at the same time, you're a whale with the positive externalities, so to say. You're a whale, and when you're doing a transaction, the transaction fee is distributed equally to the people, not just to the big validators of the network. So it's kind of, if you look at the world, which is going to come sooner when people continue losing jobs because we automate things better and better each year, there is one way out of it, which is just give people free money, just helicopter money, universal basic income. However, it doesn't give people any meaning, right? They feel like they're pets, not actual contributors to the society. And now imagine when people feel, oh, we are the guardians of the financial system. We hold these servers in our home, which are the servers supporting the ledger of truth. And we get money, not just because we exist, but because we support the financial system of the country or a decentralized network or the world, whatever. At least there is some meaning in people's lives, even if their skills became, well, not needed by the economy.
All right. I'm tending to agree with you. Um, so have a question I wasn't planning to ask you, but I should because um, a lot of people in the world think that wealth is just simply the quantity of money they have. You know, what what's your definition of wealth? And yeah, how can a person be wealthy and sovereign um, without having a massive quantity of money?
I've just recently seen a photo of, a green empty land with a small house and a pond. And this is my definition of wealth, it said. Yeah. So I'm not really sure we need money that much as other types of wealth, other types of capital. Okay, so there is financial capital, but there is also social capital. There is capital like, I don't know, community capital, so to say, the place you live in, the people you see around, the places you can go to. There is a lot of capital apart from just money. Imagine if we live in a world without money. There will still be a thing like capital and wealthy people. And, well, what's the definition? Everybody has their own definition. My definition would be, well, I want to be surrounded by a lot of intelligent people, scientific communities, and uh, fun things to do around, cultural things to do around. And of
Awesome.
course, well, high nutrition food, which keeps us energetic and alive.
Yeah, that's important, right? A lot of people lose their health there to gain money, right? So, um, you can't take it with you, you know. Um, or if you're Michael Saylor, maybe you want to be buried with cash, but who knows? Um,
Well, he's getting out of cash, Bitcoin only.
that's right. That's right. That's true. Um,
Good, it's not Bitcoin Cash.
right. Or Bitcoin SB, right? Um, so I want to find out about this because I know it's a term I've heard for years, but I don't know what it is. All right. And I don't understand. Maybe I do know what it is, but I don't understand. Sybil attacks. When I hear the word Sybil, I think Sybil Shepherd moonlighting with Bruce Willis TV show in the 80s and 90s. It's not that. So Sybil attacks. What are they and what are the best ways to prevent them?
So, Sibyl attack is basically an attack on reputation system where a person tricks it by creating multiple accounts, pretending he is not one user but 100 or 1,000 users. And this term exists for a while. However, I would say we only, well, it gains popularity right now, mostly because of crypto incentives that we have for the users to participate in our networks, to use our products, and all these things. So, whenever there is a new network or a new protocol launching in crypto, there is an airdrop to early users. It is already a rule of thumb, otherwise, community will hate you, go away, and you're dead as a company. So here is where we see most of the Sibyl attacks. And Sibyl attack is basically one person sitting in front of computer and trying to automate the process of using the network by using software and pretending to be thousands of users, not just one user, to gain the rewards disproportionately from the protocol at launch or later. So what are the ways to fight it? There are majorly, I would say, three ways. Number one is data analysis. It's like fighting Sibyl attacks when after they happened. So we're using like social graphs to figure out if there is a cluster which looks like Sibyl because from this wallet, a lot of funds were distributed to this hundred of wallet. Then they all use the protocol. Then they all claim the rewards and send them back to that wallet, for example, right? So this is what Layer Zero did, and they were analyzing it with different partners. Still got a lot of Sibyl accounts. Still. Then another popular way is, well, not that popular actually. Biometrics more popular now, but there is social vouching, which is people who know each other vouch for each other that they are real. And there is a nice protocol like that called Circles, which creates kind of local money for like that people can create. And unless you are verified by other people in the circle, only you can use this money, which is completely useless. So that's an interesting project by Gnosis, and the founder of Gnosis, Martin, is personally looking over it. They're building it for many years because they want to get it right. So it's also a very interesting experiment. But yeah, in 2020, in crypto, there were two companies who started to work on biometric solution for Sibyl attacks because in biometrics, basically you have a thing like Apple ID, which is just binding yourself to your phone, and it actually doesn't get out of your phone. And it doesn't help you fight Sibyl attacks because there are no neural networks and machine learning tech to compare people to one another. Okay, so in biometrics, in terms of Sibyl attacks, we live on two types of technologies. Number one is search and matching, so to say. This is like the neural networks that compare people one to another to figure out if they're unique. But at the same time, to prevent Sibyl attacks, you have to check for liveness of the person in front of the camera. And this is an ongoing war against generative AI that is happening in biometrics. And so far, we didn't lose it. And currently, in Humanoid, for example, I can't say for WorldCoin, but for Humanoid, we have 50 plus modules just to figure out if there is a real person in front of the camera. During the like 5 seconds that you spend to scan your face, all these modules work, and they check if you're not a deepfake, if you don't have a mask on your face, or if it is not a kind of wasp figure from the museum of Madame Tussauds. And yeah, so which are very expensive, high quality, but they still don't go through thanks to the fact that these things have been in training for the last almost 10 years. Yeah, more than 10 years.
Interesting. Interesting. So in 5 minutes, you can tell everything about somebody. That's doesn't scare you.
Yeah, yeah, trying to.
That scares a lot of people, doesn't it?
Really? So why are people scared?
I don't know. People are scared of AI. We'll see. But it's an interesting time that we're living in, and you know, I do want to thank you. You made me think of a few. Like this is really good. Made me think of several things today. So thank you very much for speaking with me. I have I have one last question. Um,
Sure.
how can how can people find out more information about you? How can they find out more information about Human Node? How can they start to use, you know, your platform? How can they do that?
Humanoid.io is the website that we have, and you can find everything in the menu. You can become a validator. You can become uh, a biostaker, which is an interesting thing, a little bit socialist, but we disproportionately give more rewards to small stakers than to big whales, uh, which is kind of strange, but hope it will work out. Uh, and yeah, you can basically try to help us get there. It's a very non-profit project. We're not a billion market cap, probably because we're kind of out of mainstream, but hopefully we will be there because we're building this for almost 5 years and we will not stop.
Awesome. I I, I appreciate it. Looking forward to seeing all the great things that you do. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you very much, Jamil. It was nice to have you on your podcast. Sorry.